Hello, everybody. We are live today, going live with Jamie Love. So we're going to jump her on here right now. If you guys don't know who she is, she's been doing the raw food worldwide meetups. She has also a book in the plant-based bundle that's on. Hey, girl, let's get her on. One sec. Did it work? Can you get on? Okay, let's try again.
Oh, there we go. Yay!
Yay! How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing so well. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you.
So good to see
It's
you too. And
it's
thank
good
you,
to
because without you, I wouldn't have known about the bundle or joined the bundle. And I'm so grateful. This was my first one.
Yay, I love it. And I love that you totally are jumping in and having some, like, we're just like bringing all these people together and sharing the good vibes. It's so awesome to see.
Yeah.
And
Is
you
this
just,
your first bundle too?
yeah, yeah. There
Yeah.
was I can't remember who reached out. Someone reached out to me and was telling me all about it, and I was like, sure, why not? And then my friend Hannah, who is high carb Hannah, she was like, oh, I've been doing these for years, and I'm like, okay, all right, let's do it. Let's jump in. So it sounded nice, and I just felt like, what better way to support people than actually like sharing the good word and the message and
It felt really nice to be a part of something, to
yeah,
feel like this inclusion of like community, even though like, we kind of like each other's posts and we see each other
yeah,
online,
yeah.
but like, to know that we're all doing this together is kind of fun. I
Yeah,
like it.
I
Yeah.
agree. It's like a family event. It like brings everybody more together for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
you have an amazing book in the bundle
yeah, yeah, we've got
too.
I know it's fun. We put together like I don't want to say like an intro, but enough information for people to understand and feel, what it's like to actually prepare your body, to prepare your heart, to prepare your mind, to prepare your environment prior to having a child. And that includes,
Yeah.
this plant-based living. So, there wasn't a lot of, when I asked her, I was like, is there anything about pregnancy in there? She's like, nope. I'm like, okay, let's bring it forward.
It's so important because, well, like you had a pregnancy that was standard American diet, right? But you're still with your husband, like you had your daughter with your husband. So for
Yeah,
me, I was really young. I was 22 when got pregnant with my
yeah.
son, and it's like, what do we know at that age?
Right.
Sometimes. Yeah. So I was still it was like what made me quit drinking and smoking was, oh, ooh, I'm pregnant. It was kind of like accident and you
Right.
know caught me by surprise, so my body was not cleaned up at all. And then I went vegan, so I was probably detoxing a lot of stuff like during my pregnancy, and I didn't even know like what plant-based was. I just
Yeah.
like cut out like dairy and stuff, so I was eating like I was still eating a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of breads and things like that. So I
Yeah. But
honestly
you
wish
were pretty clean though, because like you've been vegetarian your whole life. So you didn't have like all the like
I didn't have
super
meat. Yeah, I didn't have
right.
that. But I did have a lot of processed stuff. I ate
Yeah.
a lot of cookies and chips and things, which is why I'm still addicted to it. But like for my daughter, it's like I kind of fell back and forth. So then when I got pregnant with her, I think I was still doing a little bit of dairy and stuff and junk food. I remember eating ice cream when I was pregnant with her. And then, because we always think like, in average society, we're like, oh, I'm pregnant. It's an excuse to eat whatever I want.
Oh
But I
yeah.
gained 50 pounds with my son and 60 pounds with my daughter. And it just, it's so much work to have to get that weight off. And I felt
Yes.
gross afterward. Like, you don't want to feel like that as a new mom, and
Yeah.
then like
Yeah.
passing all that on to your kids. I didn't even know, like, when I first had my son, like, I didn't know what meditation was. I didn't know like what inner healing was. I didn't know what triggers were. I had no idea what, my family, what do you call it? Like traumas, like childhood traumas. Like I didn't even know like anything about that, so I didn't do that inner work. And then that kind of came out, like I just made the same mistakes that my parents made. I took all their stuff and like kind of put that onto my kids. Looking back now, I'm like, wow, like we really have a duty to not just our kids, but the future civilization of humanity to not only raise them with love and kindness and respect, but to not degenerate their DNA as well, like clean up our bodies. And if I do decide to have more children, I will definitely be following your protocol and doing that. So, I love it actually. My husband wants, he wants kids because I have kids of my own. And they're teenagers now, which is really hard because it's like I made so many mistakes, because I was so young and I didn't do it I didn't do everything perfectly. So like now I have a 15-year-old daughter. She lives with her dad like 2 hours away. So we have like this long distance mother-daughter relationship. It is so hard because I can just feel like because I can see it now. I'm like, oh God, that's probably from me. Like she gets that from me. You know what I mean? Even though like now I've grown and changed, she's now like, it like kind of got put onto her, both my kids, So it's such an eye-opening experience of like how different. And another thing too is like, it's so important to really put the time into your partner, like doing the work in your relationship and your marriage to really like come to a place of like purity, love, unconditional love, respect for one another, like, working through jealousy or working through anger, working through, like all these little things that happen. Yeah. Lust, porn, whatever there is in relationships, right? Working through all that stuff and then birthing that baby through this divine love, and planning it and like really like you say, like welcoming this child, like building a connection with it, a relationship with it before it's even conceived, So I really love that. And what else was I going to say? I was going to say, and making sure you're with the right partner. My ex-husband was like big meat eater, big junk food eater. So like, and that also causes like a disconnect now, because now that I've done the work and I eat really healthy and clean and, it's like trying to now have a relationship with my kids who are still living that old lifestyle that I don't live anymore. It's like, there's such a mismatch in values, vibration, energy, like communication. So it's so important if you want to have like an amazing relationship with your children, that you have to put the work in before they even get here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer, but I also believe too, like everything was so beautifully designed and aligned for you and your children. So like not feeling bad that you didn't do that, because they did come in, they did make that choice. They're like, no, I'm coming into mommy now the way she is now, because like that's what their
lessons. I try to think of that. I'm like, okay,
that's what their soul wants.
I'm like,
they wouldn't have came in, and that's the thing, is they wouldn't have came in if that's not what they were designed to do.
Well, think about it. Yeah, both my parents, like, they might, like, they yelled, I got spanked, we ate junk food, like, whatever it was, have like my family trauma, there was anger, like family yelling at the dinner table, whatever, right? I mean, we had good moments, but I come from an Italian-American family where we're always yelling at each other.
I get it. I have an Italian husband.
Yeah, so, but I'm so grateful for my parents. I'm glad that I came in, because if it wasn't for my family, as messed up as it is, and as messed up as, my child, I mean, I had a good childhood, but, obviously it wasn't perfect. I'm always like, oh, wow, I wish I would have got born into that family, but then I wouldn't be the person I am today. So I have to think about that with my kids too, is that there's some kind of lesson in what happened with me or the childhood, and, maybe our parents, me and their dad getting divorced, that's going to be a catalyst for who they're going to become, So Yeah.
It's
That's a
all
beautiful way to look at it.
it is. It's all perfect. They were literally like I always see that even when as I tell you, I think I told you before, like when I communicate with the babies and with the children that are coming in, like, their own soul agreement, sometimes they do come in to shake things up, to, I don't want to say create a divorce, but their own energy alone will come into a relationship, be like, all right, mommy and daddy, I came in through you, but I'm going to separate you because I need, I'm coming in as an angel to help mommy do this, or daddy's going to do this. You know what I mean? So there's always, they have their specific roles too with the
Right. So it's
children.
not even just about what they're learning from us, but what they're meant to do in our life. Wow, that's so
Well,
powerful.
exactly. And I also think too that these children are like, they are leading us on our awakening. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like my daughter, like I wasn't, when I first had her, 10 years, she just turned 10. So 11 years ago when I was pregnant with her, like I think I did like a liver flush and a kidney flush, and I was vegan, actually, no, vegetarian. And I didn't know, like I did some work, but I didn't go so deep. But like I went through a process with her, but that's exactly what needed to happen in order for her to come in. But then in the actual pregnancy, oh my gosh, she was working my ass. Like her energy, her frequency alone was coming in and like shape shifting and changing everything.
Wow.
And then after I had her, like is when like really that progression started of getting healthy and going, oh my gosh, I need to go raw. I need to work on this, I need to work on that. And like I went raw when she was 1 years old. So her energy alone came in to push it. She was waking me up. She's like, okay, mom, wake up. And then my second child
Wow.
was like, okay, now you need to wake up even more for me to actually come in. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right, right.
So they have specific, tasks that they have to do for the parents and also for the place they're coming to. You know what I mean? So like half the time they want to come in to certain areas or regions because their energy, their frequency is going to light up the map there. So like that's why children will say, I'm not coming in unless I'm moving here, unless I'm going here, because their frequency and energy will come in and like literally change that area. Like it could create fires, it could create, more storms. Like it's going to move the energy all around
Wow.
to
Wow.
make it what do you call it? To level up to its frequency. And then the people around them will be affected by them too. And that's the children that are coming in right now. Like they are so highly advanced, like souls that you haven't seen for probably since like Jesus, Buddha, all those times. So they're
Yeah.
coming back in to create what people would say the new earth, what I consider is the old earth, like back to the original blueprint, like the Garden of Eden state. So these
Yeah.
children are coming in to literally create this new Garden of Eden here, right?
And
So
you're making me, oh yes, I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Wait, you're making me think of a really important point too, because both my kids, I'm telling you, they were angelic
Yes.
before they got sucked into the world of TikTok and public school system and Google, whatever, right? TV shows, whatever.
Yeah.
They're so different now. And I'm like, I wish I would have been living in Hawaii homeschooling them. You know what I mean? It was like, I just see like the trajectory of like how they would have potentially grown up different had I had the opportunity to pull them out of the system, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks because it's like these kids come in as light and then the world just, just kind of swallows them
Yeah.
a bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's really important to protect them from that because they do have a greater purpose in this world.
Mhm.
And if we're not careful, they will lose their way. You know, I'm not saying my kids have lost their way. I love my kids. But I'm just saying like they're not going to wake like as adults they're not going to wake up as quickly, you know.
Right, right. Or maybe, maybe it's interesting that you're saying this because this is kind of what's coming through, if you don't mind me sharing. Can I share this?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like they came in to wake you up. Now you are going to help wake them up by just being you. So your inherent light.
Tell that to
So,
my daughter. Tell that to my
but I mean it in a way like you're not forcing the wake up, but your greater joy, and the more you come into your true self,
Yeah.
automatically they're going to see and feel mommy that. And when you see your mommy and you feel your mommy going into that place, then they intuitively, inherently be like, oh, Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I
yeah, yeah.
see. And whether it's conscious or not, you know what I mean? They're going to go through their
Yeah.
process. But also too, like sometimes, and I'm just going to say this, you know, even the angels have to come into the regular world. They got to come into the middle of LA. They got to go to the middle of New York. They got to be
Yeah.
on those
Yeah.
computer screens, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
To be able to ignite other people around them, you know what I
Sometimes we need
mean?
to hit the darkest points of parts of ourselves and the darkest points of our life in order to really like come out of the ashes as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But you made me think of my daughter. And her waking me up is that, so I was doing really, really great. And then like 2 years ago, I had some really bad life circumstances happen and I fell into a like massive depression. I gained 40 pounds and I gave my meetup group away. I stopped doing I just kind of went into this like isolation. I
Right.
call it solitude, but I was kind of isolating myself as well. I kind of stopped doing, I stopped doing my Ageless beauty group and I was just like, I don't want to talk to anybody. And I just kind of went into this healing phase
Yeah. Yeah.
and slowly I'm coming out of it. But my daughter notices. She notices,
Mm.
So we went to go look at fireworks the other night for the 4th of July and we got into an argument. It was something about me getting a job or something and not having money to like take her places. And I was like, well, I can't go get a job. I was like, I'm just going to have to deal with it. Cause I was like, my mental health can't handle that. And I did, I was looking for a job and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I can't. I was like having a panic attack. But either way, point being was she's like, it wasn't about the job. She goes, I just remember like before when you were fit and you were eating really healthy and I just got freaking goosebumps. And
Mm.
you had energy and you would play with me on the playground and you were like full of life. She goes,
Mm.
I need you to be the best version of yourself
Oh.
again.
Oh.
I know, I'm gonna fucking cry. Oh my God.
Oh. You can
I
cry.
know.
I give you permission to cry here.
Like, what the heck? You know what I mean? So it was just
Yeah.
like a huge wake up call because here I am, like, what audacity does she have telling me to go get a job? And like, I didn't even like feel the pain underneath of like what was triggering this, that she didn't want to either hurt my feelings or whatever. But it just kind of, I don't know if she just said that like as an excuse or something, but like underneath it was like, this has been bothering her for quite some time now.
Right. Right.
So I was just like,
And how
wow.
does that make you feel? Like, how does that make you feel, like hearing that and like, because I see like I know you said like go out and getting a job, but like your job is this.
Right.
Is
Yeah. Which I'm
sharing
not. I
your
don't know what I was saying. I was
message
going
and your
crazy. I'm not
light,
going to
you
go.
know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
going to. There's no way I could get a job. No, that would just, I feel like that's dark forces trying to pull me away from my purpose. Like even putting those thoughts in my head, like I need to go like be like everybody else. And like, that's not me.
Right.
So, it was really eye opening, but it was hard too because I'm actively working on myself nonstop. And it's just for some reason like been really hard for me trying to get back to like where I was. And it's more of a struggle this time. So it's like she's like, I already know and I'm working really hard at it, having a hard time, but then also knowing like that she's feeling that too. It's like it's
Mm.
kind of a lot of pressure, but it's also motivating and inspiring me at the same time. So I'm thinking to myself like, get up, go do that workout, or go for a walk, or make a better choice at the grocery store. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
Yeah.
it's not just about me. Our health, our, vitality, our quality of life, our
Hmm.
energy affects everybody around us, especially our kids. Especially
Right.
our kids.
Right. And I love that you're saying that because so many people make their what their intention is or why they're going to change. They make it all about them. But when you make it about somebody else and you're like, no, I'm doing this for my family, you know what I mean? Not just my own health, but I'm doing this for them because, and that was kind of my motivation too. You know, when my daughter was 1 year old and I was so foggy, I was even vegan at this time, and I was so foggy. I had tons of candida, and she drops like a glass in front of me, it breaks. And I'm like, huh? Just like
Wow.
brain dead. And I'm like, holy shit, like I gotta wake up, like I gotta be on it, you know what I mean? Like this is not who I am, this is not the person I'm supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like I gotta do this for
Right.
my kids, you know. And
Right.
it becomes like, as a mother, it becomes that selfless act for our children, you know what
I
I mean?
think,
Like,
and I think the biggest pain that a child experiences is a feeling of emotional neglect,
oh
where
yeah,
a parent is checked out, they're not present, they can't, connect with them on a deep level.
yeah,
I think that's the most
yeah.
painful part of childhood, is when you feel like you want to connect with your parent and they're not fully
They're not
there.
there, they're not
Yeah.
there. And half the time too, like, you know, and this goes into like breastfeeding and stuff too. It can go into breastfeeding, but like, you know, because of, like, you nailed it before, like the angel like self, who they are as angels, their energy, their frequency, it can be super hard to receive their love because of your own issues or not feeling worthy of
Hmm.
wanting to receive them. Like, oh my God, like, what is it going to be like if I'm just sitting here and receiving my child's love? Like, am I going to try to push it away? I mean, we do it as people all the time. Like, people say, oh, you're beautiful. And you're like, ah, thanks. You know, like we're
Right,
constantly
right.
not receiving
And
love
we
because we're
project our
bearing.
own, yeah, our own wounds onto children by not, and okay, so my son, when he was maybe like 7 or 8 or something, I was going through a divorce, and I was really depressed, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't know. It was just a mess. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I had these 2 kids. My ex-husband had just moved out, and I was just really depressed. And my kids like wanted me. They wanted to like love me, and I'm just like, I can't right now. I can't right now. And my son, I could see his eyes tearing up, and he said,
Mm,
I said, what? What is it? He goes, don't take my love for granted.
oh,
And I'll never forget that, because him and I have, like, we have had such a hard time together. When I moved here 6 years ago, I tried so hard to make it work. I tried so freaking hard to make it work. And he just kept pushing me away, pushing me away, pushing me away. And I just keep going back to that one instance where he said,
mm,
don't take my love for granted.
mm.
It's like, holy crap. You know what I mean? So, God, parenting is like,
Oh, it's
it's like, don't go
difficult.
into it like, oh, I'm gonna I'm gonna have a cute little baby and dress it up. Like, no, like, this is a
No.
human life that you are responsible for the outcome. You know what I mean? Like, take it seriously.
Yep.
Take your life seriously. Take your children seriously. Take your relationship seriously. Like, if you're not head over heels in love with your soulmate, I don't even know if I would have a child. You know what I mean? Like,
I
don't
wouldn't
do it.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Like it has to be 100%. There's no 95%. There's no compromises because, you know, like if you're not fully there, once you have children, it's just going to heighten everything. It's like whatever your
Mm.
disagreements are, whatever, you know, like your belief system and morals and values, it's all going to come up with the kids, you know, and how you parent's going to be different than how they parent, and it's going to create, you know, division, right? So it's like, really, I think that the real part of it is like listening. Like, how can I listen so deeply into what is the highest path for me and for my life and for my children's life? And when you're finding like you can call it your soulmate, your beloved, your husband, your wife, you know, like, to really like understand that that person is the person that you're living out your mission and your function in this life with. So it's not just you, I'm going to get enlightened and I'm going to go live my mission. Like, no, like, you have a counterpart who is going to, I don't want to say fulfill, but it's going to be like either an anchor or a piece of the puzzle that's going to allow your message, your God loving message, to be sprouting like a tree and to really grow. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like understanding. So I think that's why it's so important to work on yourself and your heart and all of your issues, and like reflect, be able to love and accept who you are, so you can reflect that outside of you, bring in that beloved, like your husband, bring that person in, you know, and then go, oh man, I love you so much. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, I love you for who you are now, like not who I think you're going to become, but who you are now. And there's like, I'm with you, like just like your vows, like I'm with you through it all. There's no leaving. Like, I think nowadays people are just like, oh, I'm gonna leave. Like the second someone triggers a wound, you know, my abandonment, I'm out. You know what I mean?
Right. And this
And
happened,
so,
yeah, this happened in my relationship too
yeah,
with my husband because, well, I did leave my ex-husband. That was necessary. It was necessary.
yeah, of course.
But my husband now, like, he's my soulmate, but obviously, like, he triggered the things that I needed to work on in the beginning. You know what I mean? So I'm like the kind where I'm like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. It's getting too hard. I don't like the difficult conversation. I don't want to do this anymore. It's easier to start over. So I would always be the one to like try to run for the hills. And he is just like this amazing divine masculine. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. We're going to work through this. I don't care if you have a freaking temper tantrum. I don't care. We're going to talk this through. We're, you know, so
Yeah.
I mean, we've dealt through everything. Like he helped me heal my jealousy. I helped him heal his lust. We have literally, like he also, he is teaching me so much about unconditional love because there's nothing I can do to make him not love me. Like, I love it. Like, he loves me no matter what. Like, I could just be myself. I don't have to, you know, other relationships, I felt like I had to, like, doll myself up or put makeup on or, you know, I had to, like, my body. I remember dating this one guy, and he's like, can you get your butt to look like that?
What?
Yeah.
Out the door.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And like, just, you know, like there's just, I've dated guys where they made me feel like, well, you need to step it up. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to be like this. And I just never felt like I was good enough, you know, and my husband has seen me at my worst, literally my lowest points. And it's like, I don't have that fear. You know, like I don't have that. I know he's with me in it for the long haul, you know, and it's just the most amazing feeling to have that bond. That's why, like, I don't understand like relationships these days, like, you know, the dating pool where they're all like, well, what's in it for me? And I'm like, dude, this is like a partnership. What are you talking about? You know?
I know. And I feel the same way. I feel like, girl, when I first met my husband, I was about ready to go to like a, you know, go be a monk in India. I was like, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to get out of this, you know, and he's like, and my daughter's like, no, here's this guy. And I'm like, wait, what?
You're
like,
not just going to leave me? You're not just going to ghost me? Like, are you serious?
Yeah. You don't want me because I look pretty or because I have this or that. And he's like, I could give two shits. I remember I sent him a photo. I'm going to tell you this really funny story. I sent him a photo of one of my modeling photos. And he's like, he writes me, why the heck are you sending me this? He goes, that doesn't matter to me. You're pretty, but like that means nothing. He goes, what I like is what's here. And he said something similar to me. That's how I know. You know, you have the one when you hear these stories. I remember I was trying to run too. And he was just laughing. And he's like, I'm going to love you no matter what. And I'm never leaving you. And I'm going to stay here until you receive my love.
Yeah. And you know what that does? Like for the first time, we can just settle into our divine feminine. And we can get out of this survival mode of like,
are they going to leave?
We're not safe. Yeah, because it's like, where are, I mean, we have two good ones, but where are all the, you know, the committed men, you know? Like, it's like, there needs to be more of these men. Like, they don't understand, like, what a woman, like, they're wondering, like, why is this woman not in her feminine? Why is she acting like this? Like, it's because of the guy. Like, the guy sets the tone. Like, he is like, you know, his masculine energy leads, and then the feminine just kind of like, oh, it's safe? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh, you got me? All right, we're good. Yeah.
I think that they need to do their work too. Just like the women do, the men need to prepare. Like I have this guy our friend who we've been preparing for like 4 years.
Wow.
So the guys have to do the preparation too. They need to heal their lust. They need to heal their own, jealousy, all their wounds, and they need to be able to go into that spot to be able to receive a woman and to not push her away, because that's really what the men are doing, is they're finding a reason to not receive them fully, to not receive their love fully. So
yeah. Well, now we have this culture where these guys are like, they're like hustle culture and this, and they're like focused on making money, and like they just don't even like the idea of settling down and having a wife and a family isn't even in their mind right now, because they're so solo focused or self-focused, self-centered.
Right.
They're they have their nice apartment, and they're they have tons of followers, and they're they have their nice car, and they're going to the gym, and they're killing it at the gym, and you know what I'm saying, and they're there's no room for a woman in his life, kind of thing. It's just so strange.
I love that you're saying that there's no room in the life for a woman. And that is one of the biggest things that we always tell people is if you want to find your beloved, you want to have your children, you need to make space in your life. And not just, in the house, she could put her toothbrushes here, but energetically, what does it look like to have a wife? What does it look like to have a child? How can we open the space up to be able to receive them? Because half the time, even when you want children, the children might not be coming in because you haven't energetically made space for them. How are they going to fit into your 9-to-5 schedule?
Right.
How are they going to fit in, because
or they're going out with the boys, and they're going to they're just spending all their time in bars or something like that.
It's you can't, you have to prepare. And that's why I say you ask God, whoever, whatever you pray to, please prepare me for my wife, please prepare me for my husband, please prepare me for my child. You know what I mean? You have that connection. And it's interesting. I want to talk about this too, because I was having these conversations with Tara Ashley. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's been talking about so much about how your higher self, your soul, your higher souls are out here, and they're preparing you to meet here in the physical. And it's if you're truly believing okay, I'm preparing here, but then I'm also knowing that my beloved is preparing as well. It's your two souls are preparing for each other and knowing that you're going to meet at that right moment. You know what I mean?
Girl, my whole story of how I met my husband was exactly this. Exactly this.
Let's hear it.
So, okay. Well, I went to an intuitive, and I was dating this other guy, the one who said, make your butt look like that, right? And I thought he was my soulmate because we had this special connection, but no, he wasn't. Anyways, I went to the intuitive, and she's like, no, this is not the guy you're supposed to be with. She goes, your perfect match is out there, and he's waiting to come into your life, but you have to let go of this other guy, and you got to let go of your doubts or something like that. I forgot what she said, right? So I was like, okay, he's coming soon. And he was in, he spent time in Bali and Thailand, and, he was doing all kinds of, spiritual work and doing all kinds of stuff. He did probably a lot more work than I did. I was getting into meditation, and, I was I had already gone raw before, so I was I was doing Reiki on myself, but I didn't do the deep relationship work that I had to do with him, because I didn't get to do that with my ex-husband. So I did personal work, but I was okay, so I spent the next 3 weeks going just really deep inside, really just, getting into alignment and eating really clean and spending time out in nature. And then I was by the end of the 3 weeks, I was I don't even care if this guy comes into my life. I was I feel so content and happy and blissful and just loving myself. Oh my God, literally. So I had messaged him a year before this on meetup.com, because my friend and I wanted to go to Sedona, and we wanted to do ayahuasca, because we're we can't go anywhere else. We're maybe they have it in Sedona. So we're I was trying to find how can we find people? So I joined Meetup, and I joined some groups in Sedona, some some spiritual groups or something. And this guy, my husband, had the same name as the guy that I thought was my soulmate.
No.
And he had multiple meetups with me, So I was like, oh, okay. So he had like, I joined some in LA too. So it said, you and this person have multiple meetups. His profile kept popping up saying we have multiple meetups together. And I was like, Anna's name's Daniel. That's a sign. He's going to help me find ayahuasca. So I messaged him a year before, right? And we never ended up going to Sedona, but he messaged me 3 days, like, I'm skipping ahead. So I was driving in the car and I was listening to this, like this instrumental to this song, and it was so beautiful. And he was back in Canada at the time, and he actually, okay, there's so many little pieces. He went to some psychic fair or some like spiritual, like Bali Fest or something. And they're like, you need to travel to California, and you also need to go to Sedona. So he went to those places before he met me, and he joined those meetup groups, which I never would have met him if he didn't. And some psychic told him to go there, which is weird, okay? So then he was doing the same thing, and he was actually affirming for like years, saying, I'm with my soulmate, I'm living in California, and I am a good father. And he said these affirmations every single day, okay? So then I'm driving in the car one day or whatever, and this song's playing on the radio, the windows are down, the sun's setting, it was like blowing in my hair, and I was like, this is amazing, right? This feeling came over me, and I had this knowing, this feeling, and I was like, oh my God, I can feel him. I can feel him so close to me. I was like, it's like that thing that you're seeking is seeking you. I was like, oh my God, we're coming together so soon, right? And I screamed out at the top of my lungs. I was like, bring him to me, with the music going and my hair going. And I got, like, my whole body started shaking. I had goosebumps right now thinking about it. Like, that's how real it was, okay? And I was like, I just had this knowing. I was like unwavering faith that he was coming and I was going to meet him. 3 days later, he texts me and he goes, how was your trip to Sedona? Now, here's the interesting part. So the intuitive said, you're going to meet him, like you've already connected with him somehow. Like, you don't know him, but like maybe you're going to meet him through a friend. So I'm thinking, like, who are my friends? Who do they know? That's what I'm thinking, right? Yeah. But meetup.com is a place for you to meet friends. Okay, so all these little dots are coming together. Another thing too, I'll tell you after. Well, this is how I knew. My very first boyfriend that I was in love with, who I thought was my soulmate, when I was 12, it was like my first love. He was a Scorpio, and the day he asked me out was October 21st. Wow. The day that Daniel messaged me asking about how Sedona went was October 21st. And then he told me he was a Scorpio, just like my first boyfriend, okay?
Whoa.
It was really, really crazy. Like, all these little synchronicities were happening. So I was like, okay, and he was vegan. He just turned out to be vegan too. And I was like, okay. So, like, we just started talking. We had this conversation. And, oh my God, we're just like, we were talking about everything. We were just going on and on and on, right? And then we had this great conversation. And then he said that he didn't drink. And I don't know, I just had a feeling. I was like, I don't know, I just really like this guy. And I was drinking that night. I was having a drink. That was the last time I had a drink.
Whoa.
I had been trying to quit drinking alcohol for years. And that was, I just made a decision like that because I was like, I really like this guy and he doesn't drink alcohol, literally like that. So then I was like, I said to him, I was like, oh, well, if you ever come to California, let me know. It'd be cool to make a new friend. I wasn't even thinking about it at this time. And then like 3 days later, I messaged him again the next day and I was like, I'd love to hear more about your story when you moved to Bali and Thailand and stuff, whatever. So then he gave me his whole life story, and then I gave him my whole life story, and we just went on and on, right? And then he's like, you know what? He's looking at my picture. He's like, this is the strangest thing. He goes, but 3 nights ago, I had a dream of a woman. And she looked just like you. And that was this 3 nights before was when I had the epiphany in the car.
Whoa.
Okay.
So your soul was coming to him going, I'm ready now.
It's insane. It was like, I spoke it to the universe, and it was like, and then he had a dream, and then he had the urge to call me, which is another strange thing. After a year, but then when I spoke to the universe, he decided to text right then. So crazy. So then we just texted for 3 weeks, right? But a week after we first started texting, I was like, we just knew. And I was like, why don't you just come? Like, just come here. And if you don't like it or if it doesn't work out, you can leave. You know what I mean? Because I was like, we got to kind of give this a shot, you know?
Yeah.
So he got out of his apartment, and we had never got on a phone call. We only had our profile picture.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we never spoke other than texting, but we were like nonstop texting, like every single day, all day. And 2 days before, he'd already got out. He already sold all his stuff. He got out of his lease, told his parents, got out of his job. He was like ready to come.
And
2
where
days
was he
before,
at?
Canada.
Okay.
And he's like, why don't we should probably, you know, I'm coming there. I have a one-way ticket. I already bought my ticket, but we should probably do a video call. And I was like scared out of my mind because I was like, what if I don't like him? He already got out of his apartment lease. I was so nervous. So then we got on the call like 2 days before his flight, and we just looked at each other and we just laughed, and it was so nice, right? So then when he came to California, I picked him up from the airport, and that's when we met in person for the first time. It's also the day he moved into my house. So we moved in together the same day. And here's the interesting part. His affirmations that he had been reciting for like 4 years all came true in one day. So he became like a stepfather to my kids. When he said, I'm a good father. His soulmate, he's with his soulmate, and I'm living in California. So he manifested his soulmate, he manifested moving to California, and he manifested and we raised my kids for 2 years together before we moved to LA.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know.
And what was it like when you saw him in person? Did you guys just like stare at each other, hug and kiss? What did you do? Like, what was that?
Okay, actually, you know what we did? It was a little awkward at first. So we went to my house. We did a psychedelic and we stayed up talking all night till the morning. Like we just literally just stayed up talking, and just like we were like facing each other crisscross, like just like looking into each other's eyes and like talking, and like it was amazing. Yeah. So
like
it was because it was awkward. Like what?
Like that soul remembrance. Like you knew each other. Like I gotta catch up now.
Well, I'm glad we did that because, you know, doing the psychedelic helped our ego get out of the way, and it just allowed our hearts to open, and we like ever since that night we've just been inseparable. Like it's just been amazing. Yeah. So we raised my kids for 2 years together, and I have to say that raising him with my kids for those 2 years was amazing compared to how I was trying to raise my kids with my ex-husband. It was just so different. It was such a different dynamic, you know. So
what a beautiful journey that you guys went on even prior. Like everything had to happen before that in order for you.
The sign with my first boyfriend, the psychic telling him to go to Sedona, like everything.
Yes, everything had to happen, and it was already all written, you know, and you were just like watching your beautiful love moose story play out. So I love it. You should write a movie about it. You know
well, I know, that's exactly it. So now that we have AI, because I've always wanted to make a movie about it, but now I'm like, oh, I could use AI and like at least do like a short film or something, because like I'm like, I just want to get the message out there. It's like, it's just to give people hope, like.
Right. And it is like, and it can be like that. It totally can.
It can be magical. It can be a fairy tale. It can be beautiful.
Yes, exactly. I feel the same. I'm not going to go into my story, but I feel the same way with my husband. It was like so synchronistic. So, I mean, and it felt like a film. Like, especially when we first got together, it was like, I don't know if you felt this, but it's like the world stopped. And like, I remember I felt like I was on a psychedelic, and I wasn't. And it was like the movie would just like replay. Like I remember I'd be like, weren't we just sitting here hugging? It felt like for hours, and like the same people would be walking in and out of the movie. I'm like, what is happening? Is this like real life, you know? And even with the children, you know, it's like when you find each other, like I remember the moment, because like I think I told you this before, like my daughter was leading me to him. Like she would actually talk to me and be like, go here, mommy, go to Topanga, you know, and then I would meet somebody in
Wow.
Topanga, be like, and he would go, there's like, I went to this, you know, one of those like hippie parties, and the guy was like on some kind of a drum, and he was like, hey, so your daughter wants me to give you a message. I'm like, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah, your husband's nearby. And I'm like, oh, is it you? And he's like, no. And I'm like, is this like a hookup line? Like he's trying to like go on a date with me?
He was like really getting a download.
But
Wow.
it was real because literally
Wow.
my husband lived like a mile away from there, you know? And so I kept on coming to Topanga, kept coming to Topanga. And like, I just kept getting the messages. And then, you know, sure enough, I meet him, obviously. But it's really amazing how, you know, we can be so open and like even just surrendering to that love and surrendering like, you know, this is what I've had before, but like I want this now. Like I deserve this. I'm ready to receive this. I'm ready to receive this love. And, you know, I wanted to
Yeah.
answer Jerome's question because he said, how do you open space for your child to come in? I've never done this before. Well, how do you do that energetically? You know, the first thing I always tell people is to really connect in with your heart and start connecting in with that child, right? So, you know, if that feels weird, you're like, well, how can I communicate with my child? They're not here. I don't do that, right? Like literally get a journal and start writing to your child, like writing like a love letter to your child, like, hi, I'm your daddy, I'm your mommy, you know, like I can't wait to receive you, and just start opening that conversation. You'll start getting messages. You'll start getting downloads. You might see like after you do that, you're like, oh, I'm seeing a picture of a giraffe, you know, and then all of a sudden you see like little synchronicities of giraffes everywhere. And there'll be clues leading you to open up to them, to receive them. But also
Wow.
energetically in your body or in your space, like think about like if you're living your life right now, how it is, could you have room for a child in it? Could the baby be intermixed in it? Like, or am I working too much? Do I have like, I remember this, my husband, he literally bought what's it called? Like oh my God, not like a Forerunner, not a Forerunner, but like a Subaru, but it had like a hatchback. And he was literally only driving a motorcycle. And when he was preparing for me and a family, he's like, I want a family. He went and got a Subaru so he could have like rows in the back. 'Cause he's like, well, where are my children gonna like? Where are my
Wow.
children gonna be at
I
if I'm on a
love
motorcycle?
that. I
You know,
love
so he
that.
bought the car. He's like, I'm gonna make the money. Like I'm gonna prepare my life so I can support this child or these children that are
Hmm.
coming in, you know? Or even
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
women, like I tell this to women, like if you are working a 9 to 5 and you're constantly working all the time, like where are you gonna have space to slow down? Because
That's why
as
I
we
won't
know,
work. That's why I don't want to
exactly.
work. Yeah.
You can't possibly like where's the baby going to be? Like what's going to happen when you don't work? Like that stress level, like take down the
Right.
stress in your
Right.
life, prepare for your body and your mind, especially your body, because like as women, you know, if we're stressed, we're worked up, we're going crazy, like that baby's not going to settle in. You know what I mean? Like you need to be in a comfortable place, not just for you, but for your family. Like I remember
Totally. Yeah.
I couldn't get pregnant with my second son, with my third child, until I literally moved to the place that I felt the most comfortable, I felt the most nourished, the most fed, and the earth like supported me, you know?
And that's
And
interesting because a lot of women or a lot of couples can't conceive, and they're probably not even correlating to the fact that they haven't put these things into place. They haven't planned these things, or she's still working, or they haven't worked through something in their relationship.
exactly. And those are the things that really do matter, you know. It's so heavily the emotional stuff, and then it's also the physical stuff. Like, you know, like those emotions are tied to what's happening on the physical body. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So you got to
Hmm.
do them both. You got to do the emotional stuff, you got to do the physical stuff, and you got to prepare for them, you know. And so you can have an easier time, an easier pregnancy, an easier birth. Like you said, like my first pregnancy, I gained 70 pounds. You know what I mean? I felt awful afterwards. I felt like my vagina was the size of my head. It was so swollen. It was like a freaking 36-hour labor. They make you push
Oh
for so long. And I'm
my
like wearing
gosh.
ice packs down there going, oh my gosh, like this isn't what it's supposed to be
Do
like.
you
You know what I
think
mean?
though, because they always say the first baby's harder, it's harder to dilate. Do you think that your third child came so quickly and easily because you were? Because I heard like the third one, they're always comes fast and easy.
Well, my third one was actually longer than my second, believe it or
Oh,
not.
okay, okay.
He was 45 minutes. My second one was 15 minutes. But I I know. I have both very, very quick births. But I mean, listen, it does go, the baby can come out faster the second and third, just because like what's.
Well, you've already dilated. You're already stretched out a bit. Yeah.
Exactly. But the difference is like how actually, like, if you're tearing, if you have the endurance to go through it, if you have the energy, the life force. Like, I think for me, it wasn't just about the labor and the birth, but it was actually about even the pregnancy and the postpartum. Like, the pregnancy, I had tons of energy. I had 0 symptoms. I didn't have the nausea. I didn't have the inflammation. I didn't have the crazy weight gain. You know what I mean? And then the birth itself was so easy. It was like, oh, okay, I'm going into labor. Okay, my water broke and I had my baby. And then I was able to, like, literally walk around and do things. You know what I mean?
And that's just as important too, because having postpartum depression with your baby is going to affect everybody in your house. It's going to affect your baby.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. But I've never, to not have any pain and not to have to push, I know that not just the emotional work, but also the level of acidity and toxins that I had in my body were so different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because when you have less acidity and less toxins, it allows you to open up easier. It allows the tissue to come out. It allows the tissue to close back right away. You know what I mean? So that's also a factor. So it's everything. It's a combination of everything when you're doing all the work. But yeah, so I wanted to go into, though, because we haven't talked about the Ageless Beauty. I know we did in a previous interview, but I want to hear about your book and everything that you're putting in there, even though I think that you should put that finding your beloved in that one too. It's like, how is that correlating with all this, like the Ageless Beauty and everything that you're offering people even in this bundle?
How is what correlating?
How is everything you're talking about your whole life? Like, how is Ageless Beauty like a compilation of, like, even what you've gone through with your husband and your whole life?
For sure, like that, definitely the Diary of a Recovering Food Addict book that I just put in the bundle, like that has been, coming from when I, as a child, like, eating all the junk food and the Italian American family. So because I didn't eat meat, I had to eat what else do Italians eat other than meat? Bread and pasta. You know what I mean? And I didn't like red sauce. I put butter on everything, so I always had pasta with butter or bread and butter, and then junk food and stuff. So my mom didn't make like extra stuff, it was always just like pasta. It was usually pasta with red sauce and meatballs, which I didn't eat meat, Yeah, I didn't eat that stuff. So I didn't grow up eating like the healthiest diet. And then everything that I learned, like with my spiritual journey, and then, after gaining the weight and losing the weight and then going raw, and then I wanted to, I had like rosacea and stuff, and I had like skin issues and brain fog. So when all that cleared up going raw, I wanted to be more natural. I wanted to feel beautiful in my own skin. My mother was always big into, like, she did plastic surgery. When I was 4 years old, she had her eyelids lifted, Yeah, I saw my mom with her eyelids. They had cut them off and like sewed them back on. Yeah, so she's been doing, my whole life, she's been doing, Botox or facelifts or, neck lift, all this. I probably shouldn't even say this. She's going to be pissed off at me. Don't watch this, Mom. I love her. I love her so much. But she inspired me. And like, she's the kind of woman who always has to wear makeup, can't leave the house without lipstick on, always has to doll herself up. And I was like that too. Like when I was growing up as a teenager, like I wore tons of makeup and I always had to like do my hair and everything, and I damaged my hair from dyeing it so much and putting so much heat on it. And, I would see these girls, these women who like didn't wear a lot of makeup, they looked really healthy and their skin was glowing. And I didn't feel like I was glowing. This was before I went raw, and I didn't know why they had a glow and I didn't. And then I went plant-based and I started to look and feel better. And then I finally went raw. I had my weight loss transformation. I had my skin glow up. And I was like, and I saw Annette Larkins and I was like, this is it. This is the secret. Then I started learning how to detox. Then I started learning how to meditate and doing Qigong and doing Tibetan rites. And, then I wanted to cut the chemicals, stop putting chemicals on my skin. So I started, just finding things that were natural that I could put on my skin. And, I started doing, beauty rituals that didn't require a lot of money, because one, I didn't have a lot of money. So I was like, how can I do this really cheaply? Even down to liver and gallbladder flushes, and,
Right.
like different cleanses like that. And, I started doing enemas 20 years ago. And I really feel like that helped me, like keeping that consistent over the past 20 years, although I haven't done one in a while. I should do one. But, so I just put everything, like my whole life of like, everything I've been learning over the past 20 years. And then, I started talking to these girls. I was working at this yoga studio a few years ago, and I was like 38 at the time, or no, maybe a little before, but they were like 20, and they're like, I thought you were like in your 20s, like 26 or something, because I was eating raw at the time. I'm not eating raw right now, but I was eating like fruitarian at the time. And I looked really good, and I was like, my body looked like literally like a 16-year-old body. Like I was like, I had no fat on me. I was biking 14 miles a day. Like I was just like so super fit. My ass was like a freaking rock. And they just couldn't. I was doing yoga every day too. So they could not believe my age. And they're like, you need to create something with this. You need to like share this. So that's really what inspired me to start talking about what I do. And then I just kind of came up with the term, the Ageless Beauty Method. Ageless Beauty, I guess I came up with that because everybody was telling me at the time that I looked really young, and I was like, okay, and like I was into beauty, but like I didn't want it to just be about like anti-aging. I wanted it to be about like the beauty that doesn't age, like there's a lot of stuff in this book about energy and qualities, like overcoming 7 deadly sins, and, replacing them with, like love, kindness, respect, like all these good qualities. I'm really about like, overcoming the shadows and embracing these divine God qualities. So then, so the 7 pillars of ageless beauty, I was like, okay, what do I do? How can I break this down into a system? So, ageless diet is the foundation. Obviously, if you can eat 100% raw, eat 100% raw. Otherwise, plant-based is still good, like eating a plant-based diet is still really good, or high raw. Detoxing, the beauty, using chemical-free things, and doing things like, red light therapy or steaming or bentonite clay masks. These are natural things that you can do to detox your skin or whatever, or boost collagen, things like, there's all kinds of little tips like that. And then like ageless body, like we have to move our body because our muscle is our longevity organ, like we have to take care of ourselves. So like yoga, Pilates, yoga bar, all these like give you like a nice, lean, sexy body, walking, lifting weights, keeping your body healthy, youthful energy, meditation, getting out in nature, grounding on the earth, like all that goes into youthful energy. And then mindset, so changing your beliefs. It's not about fighting aging, it's about why accelerate the aging process because you subconsciously believe you're getting older.
Right.
So change those subconscious beliefs, change those scripts that are happening in your mind, affirmations, subliminal reprogramming. I have a book called Secrets to Eternal Youth that people can read. You can get that on Amazon. And then like youthful living, youthful habits, these are just, self-care, consistency, good sleep, getting sunshine, you know what I mean? So just like having all these healthy habits. So that's kind of how I created the Ageless Beauty Method. And I love it. It's literally, this is my life. It's how I live my life now. So, when people think like I'm talking about, when I say ageless beauty, I'm like, oh, I'm ageless beauty. No, it's my lifestyle, like it's a lifestyle. Yeah, it's everything.
It's everything. It's a combination. I think I love that you said mindset. I saw this video yesterday, I think, because like we're doing this call, so they showed me this video. But it was how they do that the last time they showed a video when we were talking about it. It was a video of Prince. Have you seen this video of Prince? You should remix it. So it's him talking about age and why he only celebrates one birthday. and that was his birthday when he was born.
Wow.
And he goes, I don't keep track of numbers. He goes, because what happened was, as soon as I started thinking about the age, the number, you know, like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, then I have to calculate time, then I have to calculate days, you know, and all those things were running his mind to make him believe of aging. You know what I mean?
And society sets us up for that because we need to put our age on doctors' applications. We have to put our birth date on everything. But it's like, I mean, think about it. If we didn't have to live in society, nobody would be asking, how old are you? What is your age? And that's another thing too. Saying things like, how old is your daughter when she's 5? It's like, why do we even say old? Like, how young is she? No one's old, because think about it. Your body's constantly regenerating. There is not a cell in your body that's more than like 5 or 7 years. I think bones are the longest, but your skin is replaced every 28 days. Your liver every like 3 months or something like that. So you're new. You are young. Your body's literally less than a few years old at any given time.
Exactly. And you know what's, it's interesting as you're saying this, I'm thinking about how, like, you know, the Return to Innocence, that song, you know, and how like you just go from like really old age to like all of a sudden young again. And like one of the biggest fears is like kids would say like, I don't want to be old, you know, like my daughter's like, I don't want to get old, Mom. I'm like, you don't have to get old, like stay a kid forever. Like you can stay this angelic, goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, full circle of like staying in that angelic self, not falling asleep.
Right. And like, you know, Osho says seriousness is a disease. And when I see people who are so serious about everything and they can't be playful, they age faster.
Right.
You know, but like when you're like playful and a kid and you laugh, like half the time when I'm with my husband, I talk in a baby voice just because I'm like trying to be cute and he's like, you know what I mean? Like, like I don't even care, you know? So I'm like, oh, can we do this or something, you know? Because like it's fun. You know, and like we're playful with each other and we do things like we're children. Because think about it, like if you really think about it, if you think like how do you feel different from who you are now to where you were 20 years ago or even as a kid? Sometimes there's parts of me where I'm like, oh, I literally feel like I'm 5 right now. It's because it's the same soul, it's the same essence. You know what I mean? So that doesn't age. That's the ageless beauty, is the soul inside of you that doesn't age. And we're really just the same, and the body is what grows and changes. So psychologically, we think we're getting older, but we're not. Our spirit is timeless. It is ageless. It is infinite. Yeah. That's ageless beauty, guys.
I love
it has nothing to do with fighting against the age of time. It has nothing to do with trying to look, you know, 18 forever. It's just the part of you, the essence inside of you that doesn't age. It's infinite. Your soul is forever, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what makes a person beautiful is their spirit, their energy.
Yeah.
Their kindness, their love. Love makes you beautiful.
Yes. I love that you're saying that too, because then like you nailed it on the head with like the 7 deadly sins. And like I'll give you a story. My son he's 6 and he said, Mommy, when you say, you know, lying makes you die, like, does that mean I'm going to die that I lied to you? I have to tell you something I didn't tell the truth about. And he told me, and I was like, it's not meaning like you're just going to die over right now. I go, but every like kink that you have of like, whether you're lying, whether you're cheating, whether you're stealing, whatever of these things are, you know, like that, like goes at your heart and goes at your own body. And that's what's killing us, is like these little things that we're doing that's not staying in our truth, staying in that love, when we're denying ourselves, when we're denying to receive love. Those are the things that are even aging us too, because we, you know, like how many self-sabotaging behaviors are we going to do, you know, because we aren't feeling. It goes back to love. Everything goes back to love. And like
the worst feeling, and the worst feeling ever is when I can't lie. I literally can't lie. It will eat me alive.
Yes.
I can't lie. I cannot say a lie. If someone puts me in a position to keep a secret or tell, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I can't lie. I don't want it because it eats away at my soul.
Right.
You know?
I swear, like, karma happens so quickly for me. So, like, if I even think a thought or say something, like, to someone, like, it'll come right back. Almost like
God.
Immediately. And I'm
the
like,
worst part is judgment, because
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing it on purpose, but like automatically, like sometimes we'll feel like a critical thought or a judgmental thought, either about ourselves or someone else. So it's like, you can't really prevent them, because sometimes it just comes and you're like, what? Stop. No. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge,
Yeah,
so.
Well, and that's the awareness that you have, that you're now being aware of that. And I think so many people are unaware. I think it's really like that awareness of like, oh, okay, like, I did do that, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But I'm just going to use that as like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. It's like we're constantly in this school mode of awareness.
Right.
You know?
And the thing with the 7 deadly sins, okay, so I always give the comparison of the Wizard of Oz, where you have the Wicked Witch of the West or East, I don't know what she is. Yeah. And then you have Glenda, the beautiful witch of the North, right? So she's lovely, she's kind, and she glows with beauty. But then you have like the Wicked Witch, and they always, I think it was in a show, it was a show about the Wizard of Oz, but they said that she turned green because of envy, green with envy. And envy is a 7 deadly sin, you know? So it's like all those dark qualities, like, you know, lust, gluttony, all of these things, I mean, not only are they going to age you, but it's like lust doesn't look good on anybody. Like, if you're ever even around like a guy who can't control his sexual urges, he's so unattractive.
Right.
But if you're like in front of a guy and he's like confident in who he is and he's not out chasing every girl, you're like, oh my God, it's like chick magnet. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, like when you have control over yourself, when you've mastered yourself, when you embody these divine qualities, not only do you shine and radiate beauty, but you are magnetic.
Yes.
You're magnetic. Yeah.
Magnetic. And all the light comes to you.
And it doesn't even matter what you look like.
Yeah,
it doesn't even matter. You ever see these multi-millionaire movie stars, and they're dating like these guys, and they're not even, but they like, there's just something about them that the girls like. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with their looks. They're magnetic.
They're magnetic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Aww. I love this conversation.
I know, this was fun. I had no idea where this was going to go today.
I didn't either. I feel like we're in our own little soapbox.
Like, wait, are other people even watching, or is it just the two of us?
I was thinking about this. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like we're on like what are those shows? Not an Oprah, but what is that show called with all those women and they're just sitting there and they're talking? The View or something like that.
Oh my God. Honestly, like I'm literally so tuned into you right now. I forgot we're on a live.
I know.
Like, I was literally forgetting, like, we're on a live. Like, I'm so like focused on you right now.
Yes. I was a TV host for many years, and this is the goal. They would always say, this is the goal. It's like, you want to forget that there's even an audience out there, and you're just so being yourself. And you're so in tune, and that you're listening, and you're responding, and you're asking questions from the heart to each other. Like, this is real life. You know,
wow.
This is what they would try to teach you. I remember I'd be in like a hosting class, like, this is what you want to do, you know? And so many times people would be like, trying to be a host, you know? And this is like the opposite. So I appreciate this conversation.
Oh yeah. That's great advice too. And I love that you were a TV show host. Where here in LA?
Oh yeah. I worked for Fox Sports. I worked for MTV. I worked for Cartoon Networks.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
I did a lot of fun things, you know.
Wow.
Totally not me now, but I see the benefit of why I was
doing
it. But yeah.
Well, you know, you're doing it now because you're host and you got a little podcast going, so
it's all perfect. I actually don't have a podcast, but I should.
You can call this a podcast.
Is this a podcast?
I mean, you do enough lives. Someone could say, can you interview me on your live, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, people would say that to me. I was just doing Instagram lives, and they're like, "Can you have me on your podcast?" And I was like, "All right, I guess it's a podcast."
I know, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, you know what? Like, I would love to be a host. Like, I would love to have like an actual podcast with like the chairs, and you have like the, you know, the mic set up. Like, I would love, like, if I ever get the opportunity to have a space and like do like a real podcast, I would love to do that. Like, these are fun online, but I love the whole like in person with the lights and everything. Yeah.
I think it's coming in. I think you just called it in.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I just called it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I know. I think these are fun in the meantime before all that stuff is set up. But yeah, I agree. It's super fun to interview people. It's so fun to like hear everyone's stories and
Well,
like
just connecting. It's so nice to
connection.
connect. Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
It is.
And then we make friends with people all over the world.
I know, I know. I feel like you guys are
Yeah.
like my family. It's really awesome, and like Jerome comes on all these too, and it's like we're all family, and just everyone
Right?
connecting, and it's yeah, it's really cool. Until we all meet in person, this is
We should all just go on a trip. We should come visit you in Hawaii.
yes. Yes, I know. I was talking about that actually with Douglas Graham. He was like, "When are you going to do like a fruit fest in Hawaii?" And I was like, "I would love to. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's a matter of time, and we'll get that
Well,
together.
my husband and I keep talking about wanting to take a trip to Hawaii at some point. My daughter wants to go to Hawaii, so I know it's coming. Probably not this year, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's
I can
coming.
feel it. Yeah. We play around with the idea of moving there, but I don't know. We have
I
to
think if
visit
you'd come
first.
here, you'd
Yeah.
be like, "Okay, I'm not going back." That happened to me. I was like, "Oh my God, this is like the place."
Yeah.
So yeah, amazing. Well, I gotta go and feed my
Yeah.
little one, but this was
Yeah.
so fun, and yeah, this was great. I love
This was
it.
great. Yes. So
Yay.
such a pleasure talking to you
You
as
too.
always. Bye,
Oh,
everyone who tuned
but
in.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you
And
lasted
everybody on
this
YouTube
long,
too.
praise to you. Yeah.
I know. Whoever made it this far and listened to me, this was
Yeah,
awesome.
we're gonna give you a surprise gift if you make it to the end. No.
Are you gonna flash everybody? Okay.
Oh man.
Oh
All
gosh.
right. I'll
It's
see
not
you
that
later,
kind of
hon.
show. All right. We'll see you later, honey.
Bye, babe.